I was halfway through my morning coffee when Emily walked in and dropped a thick stack of papers on the table. "What's this?" I asked. "Divorce," she said, her voice flat. "I've already signed." My heart seemed to stop. "You're serious?" "Dead serious." I stared at the document. My name, Daniel Carter, was printed neatly beside hers. 10 years together, ending on a piece of paper. "You couldn't talk to me first," I asked, my throat tight. "We've talked, Daniel. You just never listened." "This isn't how you end a marriage," I said, pushing back from the table. She gave a short, bitter laugh. "You think I'm just now ending it? I ended it in my heart a long time ago. Today is just paperwork." I pointed at the pages. "You're taking the house, the car, even Max." "He's mine," she said without flinching. "He sleeps on my side of the bed." "Not anymore." I picked up the papers, flipping through them as if looking for a mistake. "You planned all this." She didn't answer. 10 years, Emily. 10 years. 10 years of what? She snapped. 10 years of me begging you to grow up, to do something with your life. I stood there speechless. I wanted to shout to break something, but I was too stunned to move. "When did you stop loving me?" I whispered. She blinked slowly. "Honestly, I don't remember." That hurt more than anything else she could have said. "So you're really walking out?" "I'm already gone," she replied, turning toward the door. "Emily," I said, gripping the counter. "Is there someone else?" She paused. Sometimes silence is louder than words. "Goodbye, Daniel." The door clicked shut. I stood there for a long time, the quiet in the house feeling heavy and absolute. Our house. No, not anymore. Her house. That afternoon, her lawyer called. Mr. Grant's voice was cold and sharp. "Emily has requested a swift settlement. I advise against dragging this through court." "She wants it all," I said, my fingers tightening around the phone. "The house, the car, the dog." Everything listed was obtained during the marriage and is legally hers based on documentation. "What about what's fair?" "That's not how divorce works, Mr. Carter. It's how contracts work." I hung up without another word. That night, I sat on the living room floor. Max's empty food bowl stared back at me. I'd raised that dog, walked him in the rain, loved him. Now he was gone, just like her. With shaking hands, I signed page after page, writing my name over and over as if slowly erasing myself from a life I once knew. I didn't cry, I didn't scream. I just sat there, completely numb, watching my whole world vanish with every stroke of ink. People say heartbreak hits you like a truck. It doesn't. It creeps in slowly until, without warning, you're drowning. I thought that was the worst of it. I was wrong. "Daniel, are you sitting down?" It was Sarah on the phone. "No, why?" "Check Emily's Instagram. Now." A knot tightened in my stomach. I opened the app. There it was. Emily, her head tilted back in laughter, leaning against Derek's shoulder. His hand rested on her waist like it belonged there. The caption read, "Finally with someone who sees me." I dropped my phone. They were together. "While we were still married," I said, my voice hollow. "The work calls. Her trips with the girls, all of it lies." "Derek was supposed to be my best friend," I whispered. "Some friend," Sarah snapped. "He toasted your marriage at your birthday dinner." "He was probably sleeping with her that night." "Dan, I'm so sorry." "I trusted both of them," I said, anger and hurt swirling together. "I helped him move last summer while he was screwing my wife." "You are not the idiot. They are." I walked to the kitchen, picked up a bottle of wine, and held it like it might explain any of this. Then I hurled it against the wall. It shattered. Glass rained down like frozen tears. Red wine dripped like blood. I stood there, breathing hard, my chest heaving. What hurt the most wasn't just the betrayal. It was remembering how deeply I had loved her, how completely I had trusted him. I called him. He answered on the third ring. "Hey, Dan." "Don't you dare say my name." A pause. I know how this looks. How long? I yelled. How long were you screwing my wife? It wasn't like that. Don't lie to me, Derek. Another pause, then 7 months. I shut my eyes. You came to my house. You ate my food. You called me your brother. I didn't mean to fall for her. You didn't mean to stab me in the back either. She wasn't happy, Daniel. She could have left. She didn't have to cheat. She needed someone who listened. Get out of my life, I growled. Both of you. I hung up. The silence that followed was deafening. Then the doorbell rang. It was Sarah. She took one look at the broken glass and the red streaks on the wall. Jesus Christ. I'm fine. You're not fine, she said, stepping inside. You look like hell. She grabbed a broom and started cleaning. You should have called me. What would you have done? Cleaned, yelled, probably set his car on fire. I gave a half laugh, tempting. She turned to me. He's trash, Daniel, and Emily. She's worse. I believed in her, I said quietly. Even after the divorce, I thought maybe I was the problem. You were. She hugged me tightly. Let her keep the lies. You hold on to your truth. Promise me something, she said. What? Don't let this break you. Let it build you. I didn't answer, but I wanted to believe her. I'm not sure why I'm even here, I muttered, sitting in the stiff chair in Dr. Lin's office. You're here because someone you trust suggested it, she said gently. Sarah dragged me. She thinks talking will help. Talking helps me understand where you are. I gave a short laugh. I'm in a shoebox apartment with paper-thin walls and no dog. You mentioned Max last time. I miss him. He used to bark at the mailman like it was a declaration of war. What else do you miss? Silence, I said automatically. Then I shook my head. No, that's not true. The silence is killing me. I used to hate the noise, Emily packing, us arguing. Now I'd kill to hear her footsteps, even if they weren't warm anymore. When did things start feeling cold? Dr. Lin asked. Maybe around year 8. She stopped laughing at my jokes, stopped looking at me. What did you do when you noticed that? I told myself she was tired, overworked. I made excuses. Why? Because I didn't want to believe I was losing her. She nodded. Tell me about the early years. We were happy. She used to hum in the kitchen, dance in her pajamas. She'd sneak notes into my coat pocket. What changed? Life, stress, her ambition, my stillness. Stillness. I don't chase things the way she does. She wanted more. I just wanted us. Dr. Lin leaned back. You feel like you weren't enough. I wasn't, I said quietly. Not for her. What memory keeps coming back the most? I didn't hesitate. Early in our marriage, we were driving through some quiet town. Emily pointed at this worn-down house and said, if I ever lose everything, I'll just go back to my childhood home. That place has always saved me. Why does that stick with you now? I don't know. It's been looping in my head. Do you know where that house is? Yeah, Maple Ridge. She showed me once. Have you considered going there? To confront a memory, or maybe understand something. Maybe, I said, looking away. You're not broken, Daniel, she said gently. You're grieving a version of love you thought was real. It felt real, I whispered. Then it was, even if she changed. As I left her office, Emily's words echoed in my head. That place has always saved me. For some reason, I couldn't shake the feeling that maybe that house held answers. You're really going through with this? Sarah asked, watching me pack a duffel bag. Yeah. Daniel, it's a broken house. What are you hopping to find? Ghosts of your marriage? No, just answers. Maybe a little control. The drive to Maple Ridge was quiet. When I pulled up, the house was just as worn down as I remembered. Shutters hung loose, paint chipped away, but it stood there, defiant even in decay. I stepped through the broken fence. Gravel crunched under my boots. I climbed the porch stairs and stood where she must have stood 1,000 times as a child. "Emily," I whispered, "this was your sanctuary." The door creaked behind me. I turned to see an older woman walking up the path. "Can I help you?" she called. "Are you Mrs. Lacey?" "That's me. You must be Daniel Carter." "Yeah, thanks for meeting me." She squinted at the house. "Most folks avoid this place. You sure you want to make an offer?" "I'm sure." "What's the interest? You got history here." "Someone I used to love did." She looked me over. Heartbreak can make a man do strange things. "It's not about revenge." "Didn't say it was." "I just need to own something she thought she could always run back to." "That's a heavy reason to buy a house." "I'm not here to be rational." She pulled out a clipboard. "You're not the only one who's come asking, though." I froze. Who else? She flipped through her notes. "A woman, couple months back, brown hair, sharp tongue. Sound familiar." My heart stuttered. "Emily." She didn't leave a name, just stood there. Didn't even go inside. I looked back at the porch. She said this place always saved her. Mrs. Lacey softened. "Well, maybe now it'll save you." "I'm buying it." We signed the papers in her car. The ink felt heavy. As she drove off, I stood alone in front of the house. My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah, "You okay?" I typed back, "No, but I'm doing something about it." I walked up the porch steps. This time I had keys. This time it was mine. Maybe I didn't know what I was building yet, but I'd found the foundation. And for the first time in months, that was enough. Still standing, Sarah asked over the phone. "Yeah," I said, staring at the porch. "You sleeping there now?" "Most nights." "Is that healthy?" "No idea, but it's mine." I spent my days talking to the walls. I told them about our wedding, the storm that nearly canceled it, how Emily danced barefoot in the rain. I told the kitchen how she once made burnt pancakes and cried from laughter. I screamed into the hallway. I cried into the bathroom sink. "Therapy," they said. Then one night, I lost it. My fist slammed through the drywall near the fireplace. Pain shot up my arm, but I didn't care. I reached into the hole, expecting dust. Instead, my fingers brushed against wood. A shoebox. I pulled it out slowly. It was old, worn, tied shut with twine. I sat on the floor, heart pounding, and untied it. Letters, dozens of them, all labeled in childish handwriting. To future me. I opened one. "Dear Emily, do you still love the stars? I hope you haven't forgotten how to dream. Please don't marry someone who makes you smaller. Promise me. Love you. Age 12. I swallowed hard, opened another. "Dear Emily, if you're reading this, maybe life gotten hard. But remember when we used to lie in the backyard and name clouds. That girl is still in you. Don't lose her. Love you. Age 15. My chest ached. Young Emily, innocent, romantic, desperate to hold on to wonder. She wasn't the woman who stood in court with cold eyes. She was just a girl hopping to be saved. And now, her past was in my hands. I closed the box, staring at it. "She buried her truth here," I whispered. I slid the twine off another letter. "Dear Derek, you'd laugh at how normal life looks with Daniel. He folds laundry like it matters. He thinks our Thursday pizza nights are magic. I just nod and smile. But with you, it's fireworks. Always has been." I dropped it, no breath, just the sound of my pulse in my ears. I picked up the next one. "Derek, I told him I loved him. I lied. I needed stability, safety. You said you couldn't give me a house, a dog, a mortgage. Daniel could, so I chose comfort. But comfort isn't love. You are." My lips moved, but no words came. "She married me because I was safe." That wasn't love. That was strategy. I shoved the shoebox aside and stood up. Why didn't you just leave? Why build a whole life on lies? I grabbed another one. My hands shook. "He thinks we're soulmates." I can't stand the way he looks at me like I'm some rare gem. You always saw the real me, Derek. The broken parts, the wild parts, the parts I never showed Daniel. I screamed. Loud raw, my throat burned. She loved someone else, always had. And I was just a placeholder. I staggered back and dropped to my knees. She played me for years. My phone rang. Sarah. I answered. Daniel, I found the truth. She never loved me, I said. Not even a little. Where are you? In her shrine of lies. She wrote to him, letters, years of them. Derek was the love of her life. I was just insurance. Sarah didn't speak. I gave her everything. Loyalty, forgiveness. And all this time I was the footnote, the backup plan. I'm coming over. No, I said, wiping my face. I don't want company. What are you going to do? I looked at the fireplace, at the letters, at the wreckage of a decade-long lie. I'm done pretending. I hung up, walked to the front porch, and dialed a number. Hello, this is Roger Demolition Services. I'm ready. Sir, the house. I want it gone. You sure? Level it, every brick, every nail, I want it erased. I ended the call. Then I went inside, grabbed the letters, and stuffed them back in the box. I wouldn't burn them. I'd bury them. Let the wrecking ball do the rest. Because now I knew the truth. She never loved me, not like I did. I stood across the street, coffee in hand, watching the bulldozers arrive at sunrise. The wrecking ball swung. Crash. Another swing. Crash. With every hit, something inside me cracked loose. Goodbye, Emily, I murmured. The house shuddered. Shards of glass spilled onto the lawn like memories. The foreman looked at me. You okay? I shrugged, more than okay. The machine roared again. Crash. Hours passed, the sun climbed, bricks fell. My phone buzzed. Her name. I didn't answer. It rang again. I let it go to voicemail. Daniel, you bought it, my parents' house. Why would you do that? This is insane. Why? Her voice cracked. You can't do this. That house is everything to me. You think you win, you don't. The words hit, but I felt lighter. I whispered, I don't need to win. Another crash from the wrecking ball. Now there's no going back for you either. The sun set. The house was rubble. I looked down at my hands. They weren't shaking anymore. I tucked my phone away. I'm finally free. Weeks turned into months. I heard the whispers Derek had been caught embezzling. Emily's sponsors dropped her. They moved away into a small, dingy apartment. I felt nothing. One morning, I got an envelope with no return address. Inside was a photo of the demolished house and a note. You broke something sacred. I held it for a moment, then dropped it in the fireplace. The flames swallowed it. No guilt, no regrets. Later, Sarah stopped by. You okay? I nodded, better than ever. She sighed. Good, you've earned it. I looked at the empty space where the house once stood. Some things need to fall apart so they can rebuild. I smiled, and this time I meant it. Months passed without dreaming about her. No nightmares, just silence. One day, Maya from next door knocked. Hey, Daniel, thought you might like some company. She held a leash with a wagging golden retriever. Meet Bailey. He needs a home. I hesitated, then nodded. Sure. Bailey became my new routine. Morning walks, playful barks. The silence at home felt less heavy. I started painting again. It felt good to hold a brush instead of a grudge. One weekend, I boxed up the remaining letters from Emily and donated them to the local archive. Why? Maya asked. Because some ghosts deserve a proper goodbye. I found peace in that. Then I saw Emily at a cafe. She looked older. We both did. She tried to speak. Daniel, wait. I nodded, smiled faintly, and turned away. My silence said everything. I didn't need revenge anymore. I had something better. Peace. Back home, I sat on the porch with Bailey. Ready for a fresh start, Maya called from her garden. I raised my coffee cup. I think I am. For the first time in years, I wasn't haunted. I was free. I never thought I'd say this, but buying that house wasn't just about the bricks or the memories. One afternoon, Maya asked, "Why keep holding on to that place, Daniel? After everything?" I looked at her and said, it wasn't about holding on. It was about taking back what she tried to steal. Like what? My power, my self-worth, my future. I remember her words clear as day. "You're not strong enough to be alone." She said it like it was a fact. But she was wrong. I was standing there, rebuilt, stronger, sharper than before. I never got an apology, I admitted. "You don't need one," Maya said softly. "No," I said, voice steady. "Some endings don't need closure, just distance." I walked to where the house used to be. Now wildflowers and sky stretched out in its place. I whispered to myself, this is where I begin again. The weight was lifting. The fresh air filled spaces that used to be heavy. Maya smiled beside me. "Look as peaceful." "More than peaceful," I replied. "It's freedom." That house was never just a building. It was a symbol, a reminder of the man I thought I was and the man I've become. "You're not just surviving," Maya said. "You're thriving." I nodded, and I'm done letting the past define me. The sun dipped low, casting golden light on the wildflowers. This time, I said, I was ready. No more ghosts, no more lies, just me. Finally whole.